Hi, Gisela. Thank you for accepting my invitation to facilitate a workshop for the International Society of Hypnosis.
It's a pleasure.
I know that you're a medical doctor, a psychiatrist that primarily work with children and adolescents. And I know that you have very good studies about neuroscience and how they are connected to your practice. And I know that you have a very good let's say, history of working with traumatized patients. Yes. So I'm very curious to know, what are you going to teach us in this workshop, which is titled 5 Basic Techniques in Dealing Effectively with High Stress Trauma Consequences. Would you please let us know what are you going to teach us in this workshop?
Okay, the first thing I would like you to understand, the people who listen, is that trauma does not exist. It's very apodictic, because I think in the meantime, when I started in 1980, it was an unknown word. In the meantime, it's a word for everything. And I'm traumatized because the weather is not as I would like to have it, etc. And I think I prefer to say living through violence or living through critical incidents, because I think this is the largest point of view where we can include people who are affected by high stress when they work, paramedics, medical doctors, and anesthetists, army people, police officers, firefighters, etc. And we can include the normal, in brackets, the normal patient who has gone through a critical incident and who is affected emotionally and maybe also neurobiologically, and who needs treatment. The first group needs prevention, the second group needs treatment. And of course, I can also include even the chronic people, the borderline patients, the patients who have dissociative disorders, etc. So that means it gives me a larger point of view without all the time talking about trauma. I think that's, we have enough in the world at the moment. So let's not talk about it, but let's talk about the resilience of people and their capacity to get over it in spite of their suffering. They all suffer. I suffer with them. What is happening in the Near East and what is happening in Ukraine, I suffer with them. But finally, we have to overcome it. And human life was always like that, by the way.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. And we are living in a world that it's inevitable to face with traumatic events. So it's very important to have some, let's say, equipments to cope with the stressful situations and to have that post-traumatic growth as well.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes, and I know that you're going to talk about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, the myelinated and non-myelinated nerves. So I assume that you are going to say something which is related to polyvagal theory of Stephen Porges as well. Are you doing that?
Yes, I am going to. Well, you see, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system and its myelinated parts and non-myelinated parts is the basics, the neurobiological basics of the polyvagal theory. And I think in order to understand high stress situation acutely and chronically, you need to know something about the polyvagal system and the functions of the different parts of the parasympathetic, myelinated, non-myelinated, and the sympathetic system.
Great, great. And I know that you somewhere spoke about peritraumatic dissociation, and we know that dissociation is the key word to key concept to understand trauma. So are you going to talk about this as well?
Yes, because I think it's very important to really be sure that dissociation per se is not a pathology. It can be a very normal phenomenon. And peritraumatic dissociation is a normal phenomenon. When we are highly stressed, we are dissociated, and it helps us to survive. So this is a very important part, and it's not pathological. And in the meantime, we even know that I can remember in the 80s, we had a lot of discussions about, is peritraumatic dissociation an indicator for developing PTSD? And they could show that it is not. I mean, we know that statistically. And because of that, we have such a lot of knowledge in the meantime, which has been elaborated and researched on and statistically clear, that we should not go back on that. Peritraumatic dissociation is normal, is natural, and it might have after that consequences. That's true. But
Exactly.
that's not after the potentially traumatic event. And this is, I would like to bring that together.
Great, great. So I'm curiously waiting to learn from you, especially when you're going to teach us 5 practical techniques. And I know that our audience like to learn more techniques, more practical techniques that they can use at the site. So they will be equipped with more equipments, more techniques, more skills to help their traumatized patients.
Yeah, that would be my goal, that you start do's and to know do's and don'ts. I think there are still, unfortunately, at least with us in Europe, there are a big group of psychotherapists who use a lot of don'ts. And it's dangerous because they are iatrogenic after that. They make people more ill and more severely ill. And that should stop.
Ah, yes, it's very important. Okay, great. So I'm going to invite all the ISH members, or even the people who love the subject of helping traumatized patients but are not yet a member of the International Society of Hypnosis, to join us and to join your workshop on November 15 from 5 to 8 p.m. Central European Time.
Yes.
Thank you, Gisela.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, 𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐬.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
See you.